Hey there. So my name is Jake Mungie, and I'm going to be going into the word grotesque and specifically its usage as a literary and artistic device. Grotesque often refers to things that are distorted, exaggerated, or unsettling, often blending things that are familiar with being monstrous, such as humans, along with things like large mouths, as you see here, or bulgy eyes. So I'm going to go into what grotesque really means. Grotesque often works by subverting our expectations of what we know. That could be anything such as an exaggerated body that could be twisted or inside out. Grotesque often works to exaggerate flaws or mixing human and non-human qualities. Macaulay Bakhtin is someone who studied carnival culture and described grotesque images as things such as huge mouths, bloated bodies, or large feasts, often challenging this idea of seriousness along with humor and chaos. The first example I'm going to be going into is going to be Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which is obviously the story of Frankenstein, which we know he's a monster, but also he's this lovable character. The next one is going to be Pan's Labyrinth by Guillermo del Toro. And this is the story of like a creature who his eyes were actually in his hands, which is obviously out of the norm and something that's just incredibly unsettling throughout the entire film. And then Hieronymus Bosch's Garden of Earthly Delights is one of his paintings. And he was often an artist that really challenged this idea of grotesque and worked to incorporate it by adding just strange things that might have been pretty on initial appearance, but then as you look further into it, you really see the idea of the piece. I'm going to be talking about how grotesque is actually relating to subversive design. And in this class, we often think about how design can subvert norms. Grotesque does this by breaking boundaries between life and death and beauty and ugliness. When an author makes the interior of the body spill out or a monster is human, it often flips our sense of order, uh, therefore just being disruptive and disrupting this idea of what original storytelling really is. So for my closing statement, grotesque isn't fully about just horror or ugliness. It's more so about this exaggeration, distortion, and reversal of what our normal ideas are regarding certain things. That's why it's incredibly important within art and literature and why it connects to our studies revolving tricksters, carnival, and subversive design. Thank you so much and have a good day.